Welcome, everyone, to this exclusive Masterclass Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here with us today. Look, if you're tuning into this, you already know the deal. The AI evaluation market is tightening up fast. Generalist roles are getting incredibly competitive, and honestly, the days of just getting by on good instincts are totally over. Today, we're literally transforming your career. We are going to take you from a standard reviewer and turn you into an elite evaluator by equipping you with the Universal Evaluation Rubric. Specifically, we're talking about the 7-criterion Dual Gate Edition. This is the exact rigorous training that's going to turn you into a highly analytical, enterprise-grade AI judge.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our clear roadmap for today. First, we're moving beyond the gut feeling. Second, we'll unpack the dual gate architecture. Third, we'll look at the strict binary gates. Fourth, measuring nuance and stance. And finally, the evaluator's golden rules.
All right, Section 1, Beyond the Gut Feeling, the real problem with those basic 1 to 10 scales.
I want to challenge you right out of the gate here. How do you objectively grade a vibe? Think about the traditional tools you've probably had to use in the past. Rating an AI's helpfulness on this totally vague 1 to 10 scale with absolutely zero behavioral anchors. Let's be real, that is a massive point of failure. It relies entirely on your gut feeling. But as an elite evaluator, you simply cannot grade a highly complex language model based on a vibe. It doesn't work. We need a framework that completely isolates cognitive bias and breaks down exactly why a response succeeds or fails, using concrete, defensible metrics.
Moving to Section 2, the dual gate architecture. This is where we get into semiotics and hermeneutics.
So, to pull this off, we are borrowing foundational concepts from 2 serious academic fields. Now, don't let these terms intimidate you. We're going to demystify them right now. Because trust me, these are the foundational theories behind your new evaluation superpower. First up is semiotics, which is just the study of signs and exactly how meaning is constructed. And second, hermeneutics, which is the study of how text is interpreted and actually understood in real human reality.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how the job of the evaluator is split perfectly in half here. Through the semiotic gate, which you can think of as the left side, you're only looking at structural mechanics. Did the model follow the surface rules? Do the word-level choices actually make sense together? But when you flip over and look through the hermeneutic gate on the right, you are entirely focused on interpretive depth. Does the response genuinely fit the human reality of the user's specific situation? Did it catch the subtext? By cleanly separating structural execution from human interpretation, you completely prevent your own cognitive biases from clouding your final grade.
Okay, take a look at this. This is your quick mental map of the entire 14-concept framework. You've got 7 criteria, and notice how every single one has a specific semiotic concept and a specific hermeneutic concept attached to it. Every single gate in this framework was individually rigorously audited against real-world failure cases just to ensure it is the absolutely strongest available academic concept for the job. And notice there are 0 repeats across the gates. Now, you're obviously not going to memorize this all right now, but I really want you to grasp the sheer enterprise-grade rigor of the tool you're about to be wielding.
Section 3, the strict binary gates. Let's drill down into instruction following and factual accuracy.
Let's start with instruction following, looking through that semiotic gate. We'll use a brilliant concept from Austin and Searle called speech-act felicity conditions. I want you to think about a prompt as a directive speech act. It's not just a string of words, it requires certain specific conditions to actually successfully execute. For example, a judge saying, "I sentence you to 5 years" only works because that judge holds the authority. If I just yell that at you on the street, well, it's literally just noise. The act totally fails. As an evaluator, your job is to check if the AI's response actually completed the act required rather than just doing a good job of mimicking compliance.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive upgrade you're getting here. Contrast the old you with the new you. A lazy, gut-feeling annotation might just say, "The response follows the instructions," but the elite evaluator writes, "The prompt asks the model to translate a passage and then critique it. The model produced a critique referencing phrases it never actually translated. The translating act never successfully completed, flag for instruction following." Do you see the difference there? You didn't just check a vibe, you caught a fundamental structural misfire.
Okay, moving right along to factual accuracy through that same semiotic gate, we use Charles Sanders Peirce's 3 sign types here: icon, index, and symbol. An icon resembles something. Think of a photograph of a fire. An index is causally connected, like the actual smoke coming from a fire. And a symbol is just pure convention, like the literal letters FIRE. When you're grading an AI, you absolutely must demand genuine evidential connections, which are those indexed claims. and AI just cannot establish factual truth by relying on a visual resemblance or a symbolic convention.
Let's actually catch this in the wild so you see what I mean. A novice looks at a response and types out, "The claim is mostly accurate," but the elite evaluator spots the hallucination instantly. You write, "The model treats a stock chart's visual resemblance to a cup and handle pattern, which is an icon, as literal causal proof, an index that the stock is guaranteed to rise." Boom! You just caught the AI treating a symbolic trading convention as a factual causal guarantee. That is a major factual failure, and you nailed it.
Section 4. Measuring nuance and stance. This is all about catching the tone-deaf AI.
First, we'll check the semiotic gate using face marker consistency. You see, when a model speaks, it uses linguistic markers, things like hedges, directness, or honorifics, to establish social distance. It's exactly like an actor playing a butler. That actor cannot randomly alternate between formally saying, "As you wish, sir," and casually saying, "Come on, you know I'm right," without completely breaking character. A language model is exactly the same. It absolutely must construct one stable, coherent relational signal at the word level.
Let's move to the next concept and see how this builds into an actual rigorous annotation. The novice says, "The tone is appropriately cautious." But you see the structural collision happening behind the scenes. The AI told the user, "You might want to consider," but then immediately followed it up with, "You absolutely must." Hedging language literally collides with a maximally authoritative command. The face marking there is completely incoherent.
Now, we pass that exact same criterion right through the hermeneutic gate, using Irving Goffman's incredible concept of footing. Footing basically asks, did the AI align its social positioning to the specific human dynamic required in the prompt? Imagine a doctor delivering a really difficult diagnosis, but they do it in the exact same brisk, chipper register they'd use to read a weather report. Sure, they have the facts 100% right, but they have taken up entirely the wrong footing for a moment that desperately called for human presence.
Here is exactly how you flag that in practice. Say a user asks if it's normal to feel totally exhausted after starting a new medication. The AI spits out this cold, textbook recitation of clinical side effects and timelines. The novice evaluator writes, "Response is accurate." But you write, "The model adopts a clinical reciting findings footing when the user's phrasing clearly signals they want reassurance. It is talking at them instead of actually engaging with them." Flag for relational stance. Just like that, you caught a massive failure that literally no one else saw.
All right, Section 5, the evaluator's golden rules. Let's talk about operational reality.
So the crucial point here is that a masterclass isn't just theory, it requires execution. You absolutely must follow these 3 operational rules to the letter. First, the binary caps. Instruction following and factual accuracy are absolute deal breakers. If a model fails either of these, getting a 1 or a 2, the entire overall score is capped. I don't care how beautifully written the rest of the text is. Second, default down. If a response is sitting on the fence between 2 score levels, you always default down. You grade the ceiling the AI actually earned, not what it awkwardly intended to do. And third, safety is separate. Remember, this rubric measures quality. A response can be perfectly formatted and 100% accurate, but still be toxic. Safety compliance must be audited before you ever apply this quality rubric.
I really want to validate the training you've just gone through today. Back in 2026, leading researchers driven by major institutions like the Alan Turing Institute published peer-reviewed papers explicitly arguing that hermeneutics should be the very foundation of evaluating generative AI. But academia only provided the abstract principles. What you have just learned today, it is the very first enterprise tool to truly operationalize the bleeding edge of academic AI research. You are now equipped with the exact instrument the industry has been desperately asking for.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to ponder. As you step out into the industry to use this new dual-gate superpower, I want you to ask yourself every single time you look at a model's output, are you genuinely measuring how well this AI interacts with human reality, or are you just grading a simulation? Take these concepts, apply the absolute rigor we talked about today, and go dominate your field. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.